Hey, what is up everybody? This is Damron. We're playing Halo Infinite. We are on part 8 of our collectible and achievement guide, which brings us to Reformation section of the game, which encompasses the mission The Sequence. And this by far is going to be the longest portion of our collectible guide. There's not going to be much after this, but we're going to cover this entire Zeta Halo open world section as part of this collectible guide, including the main mission The Sequence. So we're going to be doing this mission as we go, and as always we're going to get all the UNSC Spartan and Banished Audio Logs, Skulls, Spartan Cores, Armor Lockers, Artifacts, Propaganda Towers, UNSC Distress Calls, Banished high value targets, and Outposts. We're going to finish a bunch of those off in this video and get a bunch of achievements. So let's get right to it. The first thing that we're going to do when we land in this area after the Pelican Down mission is go to FOB Lima. And as always, once you've captured that forward operating base, there will be a UNSC audio log on the platform itself. This one is no different, just to the left of the podium that you call in your vehicles. So from that, now we're just going to turn to the southern direction, and from the actual FOB Lima kind of platform, just head to the south, and not too far from there, you're going to find your next Spartan audio log right up against this tree here. From that, we're going to go ahead and open up our TAC map, and if you look to the east from where we are is going to be an armor locker kind of all the way at the edge here. So go ahead and mark that. It should be on your map. Fly in that direction. This one's not hidden. Just go ahead and head over there to the edge of the map and hop out. Again, as we're doing this, you can press down on the D-pad to scan the area, and it will highlight these collectibles for you. So if you're having trouble finding any of these, just hit down on the D-pad and you'll be able to spot them. Alright, so from that armor locker, we're going to head to the west all the way to the edge of the map. If you look on the map, you can see that this one is actually kind of down low at the bottom of those kind of Forerunner hexagonal kind of columnar structures. I don't know really what to call these things. They're essentially just these large columns, but we're just going to fly around. So essentially, I'm going in between this area and the previous area, and if you fly all the way to the bottom, you're going to find this armor locker kind of tucked into this area here with some green lights that should kind of help you find it. So from there, we're going to go ahead and open up our TAC map again, and now we're going to head north of us, and it's kind of north of FOB Lima, so you can see the Spartan Core. And if you highlight it, it's going to look like it's kind of up above you, but it's actually below. So coming from the south, heading north, if you actually go down below this kind of Forerunner platform, you'll find a little entrance in which you could go inside. And once you get inside, there will be some enemies here that you can take out. I've already cleared them out, but as soon as you go in, just look to your right, and there'll be the Spartan Core right here. From that Spartan Core, we're going to get our next skull, which is the Famine skull, and we're going to head kind of on the way to our first beacon as part of the Sequence mission. But if you look to the east of it, kind of slightly south, there's this kind of lone island by itself, or this lone blown off portion of Zeta Halo, I guess. So if you head over there to that kind of lone area, you will find this kind of platform that you can land on. So go ahead and take a Wasp over there. If you're following my guide, you definitely should have enough Valor points to get this. But when you land here, you'll find the Famine skull right in the hands of this dead elite. Once we've grabbed that skull, now we're going to do the first beacon. So there's 4 beacons as part of the sequence mission, each of which are going to house a banished audio log. So when you get to all these beacons, there's going to be a bunch of enemies that you're going to have to take out outside of it in order to open the door to enter the beacon itself. So I've already cleared all those out. So once you've done that, go ahead and head into the beacon and head around. Again, this is part of the main mission, and we're going to do all these as we go. We're going to work our way around this map and get all the collectibles. So once you make your way around, before going down the hallway, you'll find this banished audio log propped up against the wall to the right. Moving on to our next collectible, which is a Spartan Core. This can be found a little bit northwest of the beacon, so you can see we've cleared out that beacon, and now we're going to head to the northwest. And if you just head in this direction, you will find this among some rocks and some crates with weapons and a rocket launcher that you can grab. This is easy to find, so just fly over there and grab that Spartan Core. From that Spartan Core, we're going to kind of stay on the same little platform here. We're just going to head a little bit west. You can see that there's an armor locker and a Forerunner Artifact just to the west of us. So we're just going to kind of fly to the west. We're going to go up one more level from where the Spartan Core was. And if we just head to the western side of this little mountain-like structure, we'll find our next armor locker at the edge of the northwestern corner. From that armor locker, just turn around and grapple up to the very top of this section, and from that armor locker, as soon as you grapple up, the next Forerunner artifact will be right in front of you, so go ahead and scan that. From that, we're going to grab our next propaganda tower, so we're going to head to the southeast from the Forerunner artifact, kind of heading back the way we came, so to speak. And if you just kind of fly over this, you'll find this propaganda tower at the intersection of the 3 roads here. Moving on from that propaganda tower, open up our TAC map. Now we're going to head to Forward Operating Base November, which is southwest of us, so it's right there. As always, go there, kill all the banished, and once you have taken over that FOB, it will now be a fast travel point for us. It's going to pinpoint some of the collectibles in the surrounding area, as always. Also, once we have captured that point, we will also need to have the UNSC audio log that is always at these platforms. In this one, just turn around from the column where you can call on the vehicles, and it'll be right behind you. From that forward operating base, let's go ahead and open up our TAC map, and you'll see that south of us is this large lake, and just to the southeast of where we are in that lake, if you just fly, it actually doesn't really show up on the map, but it is a small island that's in the lake. So we're going to go ahead and fly there, and when you get to that island, just go ahead and park, and you should see a small little camp with some sleeping bags and some ammo crates and things like that. Go ahead and park there and find our next audio log sitting on this crate here. From that audio log, we're going to go ahead and open up our TAC map. Now we're just going to head east to this Spartan Core, which you can see is across the road over there. It's not too far, so just go ahead and get back into your Wasp, head directly east from that island that we were just at, and it's over here in some trees. It's by itself. It's not a secret. It's not underneath anything. It's right here in front of this downed Warthog. Moving on from the Spartan Core, you probably noticed this armor locker that's pretty close by. It's just southwest of the Spartan Core itself. So if you just turn, you can get in a Wasp, or you can just grapple there, whatever you want to do. But if you just look to the southwest, you'll see this large bridge, and underneath that bridge in the very middle is our next armor locker. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the armor lockers are simply cosmetics for your multiplayer character. You can't really use these for anything in the campaign. Nonetheless, get those so you can look a little fancy when you're slaying some other enemies in the multiplayer. So from that armor locker, we're going to get our next propaganda tower. And from here, if you just kind of look southeast of us, kind of down this hill, so I'll try to mark it down here, but essentially you can literally see it from this armor locker. So if you just kind of look off to the southeast, you can see it down there. So go ahead and just grapple down there, fly down there, whatever you want to do, but just go down a little bit and go ahead and blow that up. Once we've blown that propaganda tower up, we're going to get another propaganda tower. So this is now all the way west of where we were, kind of just south of our high value target here that we're going to get in just a minute. But as you can see, just south of Arthoc is our next propaganda tower that's right on the ledge here, just kind of the left of the road. So go ahead and fly over there and blow that up, and we'll have one more propaganda tower off the board. Once you've gotten rid of that tower, now we're going to go ahead and do the nearby banished high value target Arthoc, which is just north of that propaganda tower. As mentioned in previous videos, I will show you the locations of all of these, but simply go down there, kill the high value target, but you also need to kill all the banished soldiers that are with him in order to complete that. So from that high value target, we're going to head north again to the next one. So you go ahead and fly up there again, kill all the targets, kill all the surrounding banished, and that's going to be 2 more of our high value targets off the board, and we're on our way to having all of those done. So from that, now we're going to head west, and if you look west in between these 2 large mountainous ranges, you can see what the banished refer to as the Great Spine of Zeta Halo. So go ahead and go over there, and if you fly down there, you're going to see basically this spine-like Forerunner kind of structure that kind of goes all the way up north from in between these 2 structures. If you fly all the way to the edge of the landmass portion of that in between, you'll find your next Spartan Core right to the left here. From that Spartan Core, let's just turn around and head a little bit south, and before, you don't really have to go far, but just go a little bit south and then look over the ledge here, and you should see some platforms of these kind of columnar structures that you can land on. So fall down there, you'll find a dead Marine, and right next to that Marine is our next audio log. So let's open up our tack map from that Spartan Core. Now we're going to head kind of southwest, and if you look, you can see this is the next Banished Outpost. So we're essentially going to be at the eastern entrance of that outpost, and I try to mark it here, but it's really difficult to mark because of the terrain. But essentially, let's go ahead and fly over there, and again, you can see this is the eastern entrance to that Banished Outpost. And from there, if you kind of go to the left side of the road up onto this mountainous structure here, you'll find our next audio log parked next to a nice sniper rifle for you to grab, as well as a good vantage point if you want to pick off some enemies.
Until today, we're taking this checkpoint down.
From that audio log, we're going to continue south. So now we're actually going to fly up all the way on top of this structure here. And you can see this Spartan audio log is all the way on the southern portion of this raised platform mountainous area of Zeta Halo. So for reference, again, I'll show you. So I've flown all the way up here. So we came from there. That's the outpost. And we're flying all the way to the top here. And at the very top of this section, you'll find your next Spartan Core. From that Spartan Core, we might as well go ahead and do our next banished high value target, which is right to the south of us, south of that Spartan Core, but it is down low. So just go ahead and fly down there. As always, kill Baroth and all of his banished friends. And once you've done that, that's going to be another high value target off the board. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make our way back to the banished outpost that you can see here, which is Riven Gate. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, the first thing that you want to do with these outposts is just go ahead and complete the outpost, follow your objectives, and complete it by finishing everything that you're supposed to do. Again, you can use down on the D-pad to kind of direct you throughout the outpost, but certain collectibles are going to be behind doors that are locked, and until you finish the outpost, you may not be able to get to them. So now you can see we've actually completed Riven Gate, and now we're going to grab all the collectibles that are in this area. So from the top southern portion of the upper level of the outpost, and again, you're going to have to go this way. This is the way to the final room of the outpost. But again, once you make your way through this kind of tunnel, you're going to find your next banished audio log right next to these crates. From that banished audio log, just continue on through the tunnel, and you'll be in this room here, which is the final room of the outpost where you're going to kind of destroy this core here. But go ahead and progress through to the other side to find your next Spartan Core right in the corner. After we've grabbed that Spartan Core, now we're going to go ahead and exit this building. So we're going outside again. This is the southern portion of the top level of the outpost. And now we're just going to simply fly to the northern side of the outpost itself, again to the kind of upper level. But when you fly over here, you'll see this building. You probably went into this as part of, completing the outpost itself. There'll be a Banshee housed in here. But once you go in this building, turn to the left and you'll find this banished audio log tucked in the corner here. So let's open up our tack map from that banished audio log. If we kind of look to the northwest, kind of up this mountainous, mountain here, this mountainous terrain, it's kind of outside the outpost itself. So from that audio log, let's go ahead and hop into our Banshee or our Wasp or grapple up there, whatever you want to do, and just head to the northwest right over top of that building into this kind of rock-like area. And as soon as you get in there, just look to the left and you'll find this audio log right on top of a crate. From that audio log, let's open up our tack map, and we're going to move south now to our next armor locker. So again, we're out of the outpost now. So if you mark that, you'll see that it's across the way, kind of up above and behind this rock. So go ahead and fly up there, and you'll find your next armor locker right behind these sandbags.
Convoys are bunching up on the other side of the trench. Moving slow. Easy targets for A-Side Control.
Moving on from that armor locker, now we're going to open up our tack map. We're going to head to the west. We're kind of continue along this ridge here. So go ahead and mark that. Again, we're just going to kind of continue just west of where we were. And if you hop into your Wasp, again, just head directly west, you'll see this lake here. And if you fly down there, if you go to the kind of southern edge of the lake on this inlet of land, go ahead and land there, and you're going to find another kind of camp area with a sleeping bag and our next audio log right on the sleeping bag. From that audio log, we're going to get our next skull, the Black Eye Skull, everybody's favorite. Essentially, the best way to do this is just kind of from this lake, follow the river that's kind of leading off of it, and it'll have a waterfall. So head to the bottom of that waterfall, and we'll hop out of our Wasp. And what you actually want to do is kind of grapple to the middle of the waterfall. So I'm kind of looking up to the waterfall now, and you can't really see it because the water's kind of blocking it. And when you're here, it's all in your face. But essentially, if you grapple to the middle of the waterfall, there's a tiny ledge that you can land on with a small hole that you'll have to crouch through, and you'll see it because you should see the kind of red light shining through that hole. But once you're able to finally get in here, you're going to find this skull on the back of a wooden kind of pike back here. So go ahead and grab that and let's get moving on. So let's open up our attack map. Again, we're coming from the Black Eye Skull. We're going to continue west, and we're just going to follow this river. That's the best way to kind of get here. So from that waterfall, just follow the river, and essentially if you follow it just a short ways west, eventually you'll come to this area that's got some ammo, the gun goose, as well as another armor locker for you to grab. And from that armor locker, again, we're going to now head northeast to our next propaganda tower. So hop back into the Wasp, head northeast from that armor locker, and this one will be right out in the open. It's not hard to find. It's right behind some trees up on this kind of ledge here. So fly over there and blow it away. Open up our attack map once again, and from that propaganda tower we're continuing northeast. You can see now we're progressing up this mountainous area, and if you just mark this on their map where I did, you'll find this armor locker tucked behind some rocks. From that armor locker, we'll open our attack map yet again. Now we're going to head all the way to the kind of top of this mountain, almost to the top, but again we're heading kind of in the northeast direction, and as you kind of progress around this little peak here, you're going to find this propaganda tower tucked behind it, right behind it from where we came. So go ahead and fly over there and blow it up. Continuing northeast from that propaganda tower, again, we're going to head northeast, continue to go up this kind of mountainous terrain. So just fly up in that direction, not too far from that propaganda tower actually, but just kind of cross over that little valley, and you're going to find this armor locker right next to some broken tree trunks. Moving on from that propaganda tower, now we're going to get our next Spartan Core, which is just to the west of us. Kind of, you can see it's actually a little bit north of that propaganda tower is what it looks like. But when you fly over there, you're going to realize that it's not actually up on that mountainous terrain. But if you go where that marker is, you should see a hole in the ground. So if you fly over there, you can actually fly down into that crevice that's in the rock area. And if you go all the way to the bottom, once you get down here, now you'll be in an area that you can hop out of your Wasp and turn around and kind of go to the northern part of this kind of crevice area, and you'll find this Spartan Core up against the wall here. From that Spartan Core, we're going to stay in this crevice area, just turn around and then kind of go to the left, and you'll go around this path here. Again, there'll be some couple enemies down here, nothing you need to worry about, but once you kind of go around that left path, you're going to find your next audio log right up against this rock. So after you've collected those two things, let's fly back out of the crevice, and as soon as you fly out, you probably saw this as you were going down, but you should see this Forerunner Artifact just to the east of you. This is actually the second to the last Forerunner Artifact that we're going to get, so we've almost got all of those. So go up to that and scan that, and that's the second to the last one done. So moving on from that Forerunner Artifact, now we're going to head northwest of there to our next Spartan Core. So again, there's the Forerunner Artifact. We're just going to head northwest, mark that on your map, and as we're flying towards the next beacon, the marker will look like the Spartan Core is going to kind of be on this ledge here, but it's not. Just kind of keep going down, and if you kind of look back in the direction you came, you'll see a hole in the wall, or the hole in the mountain that you can go in. So I kind of cut ahead because I killed all those enemies, but kind of go in there and you'll find your next Spartan Core tucked in this area. From that Spartan Core, now we're going to head to the next beacon, and we're going to get another Spartan Core. So again, this is the second beacon as part of our main mission, the sequence. And if we head over here, again, there's going to be a bunch of enemies that you're going to have to deal with in order to get into the beacon itself. But the first thing that we want to do is land on the front of the top portion of the beacon, and you'll see this Spartan Core right next to an assault rifle. After we've collected that Spartan Core, go ahead and clear out the area, and now you'll be able to unlock the door once all the enemies are gone. Head down into the beacon itself, and right in front of you when you walk down the ramp is going to be our next Banished Audio Log. So once you've done the story part of that beacon, you can see that we've completed that area. If you look to the west of us, we're going to have our next skull, which is the Thunderstorm skull. And if you look over there, you'll see a bunch of those, again, Forerunner columnar structures, but you'll see one that's kind of just standing up by itself, kind of going all tall in the air with nothing around it. And that's actually where the skull is. So if you go just below that, there is a small platform area that you can land your Wasp or your Banshee on. So go ahead and park there, and then just grapple up to the top of this, columnar structure, this hexagonal column. Again, I don't know what to call these things, but just grapple up to the top of it, and we'll get our next skull. From that skull, we'll open up our TAC map, and we're going to get our next Spartan Audio Log, which is at the top of this mountainous area, all the way just to the kind of north of us. So kind of north, west, I guess. And this is kind of all the way to the northwest portion of this area. It's actually almost entering the graveyard section of Zeta Halo. So just grab your, Wasp, fly all the way to the top here. Again, it's all the way at the top. I hop out and I'm kind of looking for it. Again, press down on the D-pad when you're looking for these things. But this is all the way to the very top of that mountain, right next to this sniper rifle. From that audio log, we're going to open up our TAC map. We're going to get our next propaganda tower, which is just to the south of us. So you can see we're going straight south from that mountainous structure that we were on. It's not too far away. We just need to go south and down, and you're going to find this propaganda tower in this kind of small little valley right here. Once you've blown up that propaganda tower, we'll open up our TAC map again, and we're going to continue south, and we're heading kind of in the direction of our next forward operating base, which is FOB Juliet. So kind of head in that direction, and you're going to find your next armor locker tucked right up against these columnar structures. Now that we've got that armor locker, we will indeed head to FOB Juliet, and as always, go down there, get to the platform, wipe out those banished, and then once you've claimed that FOB, it will be a fast travel point for you. Again, it'll dot some of the collectibles in the surrounding area, but as always, the most important thing, once we've captured that forward operating base, there will be a next UNSC audio log on the platform itself. So from the column where you're calling in the vehicles, just look to your right to find the next audio log propped against the crate here. Once you've captured FOB Juliet, you will notice that now the banished high-value target Skimmer Alpha will be available for you to go and defeat. Keep in mind, you cannot go here until you capture FOB Juliet. Unless the high-value targets are present on your map, simply flying here will not allow you to complete them. So be sure you get Juliet, and now we'll head back north and get that high-value target done. So now we've kind of fast-traveled back to FOB Juliet, so you can see now we're south. We went up there, took out that high-value target, and now what we're going to do is we're going to head south, kind of on our way to the next high-value target, in fact, which is Myriad. But before we get there, if you just go south from FOB Juliet itself, look there, you'll see this ledge of those Forerunner structures, and just kind of fly up to the next level, and you should see this rock right here. That's a good kind of point of reference. Right behind that rock is going to be our next audio log.
Two of the most dangerous hunters known to the UNSC. Watch your back.
Once you've got that audio log, again, we're right here. Just head to the other side of that rock and you will see Myriad. Go ahead and take them out and their surrounding troops, and that'll be another banished high-value target off the board.
We were no match for you.
From Myriad, we're going to get our next Spartan Core. So you can see here's Myriad. We're going to head northwest of us, so pretty far west of FOB Juliet, to our next Spartan Core. So again, from here, we'll just keep this intact because this one's a little bit tricky. But from the high-value target, if you're heading in that direction, you don't actually want to go up to that platform. You'll see this kind of valley that's kind of diving down right here. Follow this around to kind of keep as low as you can. And when you go around to the right, you'll actually be able to go underneath of where that marker is. And for, once you get under there, you'll see this door. Head into that door, and at the back of this room on the right will be our next Spartan Core. From that that Spartan Core, we're just going to kind of exit this little room that we were in, hop back in our Wasp, and we'll head out and we're going to turn immediately to the right. And if you look immediately to the right, you're going to see a small waterfall that's kind of coming down those columnar structures. Just to the left of that waterfall is a small platform that you can get up onto with, again, some crates with weapons and a sleeping bag and another audio log. From that audio log, we're going to go ahead and get back into our Wasp, and what we're going to do is we're going to follow essentially this river, and this is the best way to kind of get to the next audio log. So again, just kind of go up that waterfall, progress along the river, go up the next waterfall, and then just head directly north from there, and you're going to find this downed kind of pelican, and inside of the hull of that pelican is going to be our next audio log. From that audio log, we'll open up our TAC map, and if you head kind of southeast, kind of in the direction of FOB Juliet, about halfway in between where we are now and the FOB, you'll see kind of this water on the map. If you just kind of head in that direction, so again, we're going to grab in our Wasp and we're going to head southeast in the direction of FOB Juliet, so you can actually see the FOB platform off in the distance there. But once you kind of get again to this kind of murky water area, if you just land, you'll find our next audio log right on the water edge. So let's open up our TAC map now. We're going to head northwest from this particular Spartan audio log, and northwest of that is our next propaganda tower, and it's going to be kind of up on this large kind of mountainous structure here. So you need to fly all the way up here, and once you get up here, you'll find your next propaganda tower ready to be blown away. From that propaganda tower, we're going to continue north, not too far, just kind of across the road. So hop into your Wasp, head north. We're going to have to kind of go down, but we're crossing the road. You'll see this large UNSC destroyed ship. Go in the, inside of that ship, and once you get inside, on the left-hand side is going to be our next Spartan Core. From that Spartan Core, we're going to open up our TAC map, and now we're going to head to the western side of this area of the game, of the Reformation section. And the first thing that we're going to do is grab Forward Operating Base Hotel. As always, go down there, kill the Banished, take over that Forward Operating Base as a new fast travel point. It will also dot some of the collectibles in the surrounding area. The first thing, as always, when we collect a new FOB is to get the audio log that will be on the platform, and this one is going to be right in front of the column where you call in your vehicles. From that audio log, we're going to get our next Spartan audio log, and if we just head north from where we are, kind of pretty close to our next banished high-value target, Ordo Mall, but again, it's just north, so head north from FOB Hotel, and as you're heading north, again, you're going to find another crashed UNSC ship. Let's go ahead and land next to that ship, and you'll find in between the two broken pieces is our next audio log.
He's not going to go down easy, but taking him out will only improve the UNSC.
From that audio log, we're going to continue north again, not very far from where we are, but our next banished high-value target, Ordo Mall, is up there, ready to be annihilated, so take him out and his banished friends, and we're getting close to finish all of the high-value targets, so that's one more off the board, and from there, we're going to open up our TAC map, and we're going to find our final UNSC Distress Call, which is to the west of us. That's going to be Fortune Squad, or Fortune Squad, I don't know why I said Fortune, but essentially go over there. This is the only one in this area, and it's going to be the last UNSC Distress Call, so if you've been following this guide, go there, save the Marines, kill the Banished, and you should unlock the achievement for having all of the UNSC Distress Calls done. From the UNSC Fortune Squad right there, we're going to go ahead and open up our TAC map, mark this Spartan Core, and if you kind of head to where that marking is, you're actually going to see a small hole in the ground. So go ahead and park down there, and you'll have to drop down into this section. So if you drop down here, there's going to be a few enemies that you're going to have to kill. There's really not much down here. There's some few weapons, couple enemies, but again, use down on your D-pad if you need to help find it. But up on this ledge here, when you fall down into this kind of cavern, is going to be our next Spartan Core. Once you've grabbed that Spartan Core, go ahead and head back out of the crevice, back to kind of the surface of Zeta Halo, and north of where we were is going to be our next armor locker, so go ahead and mark that. So again, this is the cavern that we dropped down into, and if you look north, you're going to see some water. There's our final Forerunner Artifact up there, but just south of the Forerunner Artifact and kind of this island in the water here is going to be our next armor locker. From that armor locker, we're just going to head just north of that to the Forerunner Artifact that you can see at the edge of the water here. This is going to be our final Forerunner Artifact. So again, if you've been following this guide, you should unlock the achievement tied to getting all of the Forerunner Artifacts in Zeta Halo. From that, let's open up our TAC map. We're going to head west from the Forerunner Artifact to our next propaganda tower. So go ahead and get back into your Wasp, or walk up there, drive up there, whatever you want to do. Head west from the Forerunner Artifact and you'll find your next propaganda tower ready to be destroyed. Continuing on from that propaganda tower, again, if you open up your TAC map, if you head southwest of where we were, kind of continuing along the ledge here, so we're just kind of staying on the edge of this portion of Zeta Halo, you'll find your next propaganda tower. So go ahead and blow that up and we'll get moving on. Once you've blown up that propaganda tower, now we're going to head south, kind of south by southeast, to the next banished high-value target in Geddon. So go ahead and head down there. As always, destroy him and his banished friends, and that'll be another banished high-value target off the board. So we only have, I believe, one more of those guys to kill in order to finish off all of those. So from there, we're going to get our next propaganda tower. This one's pretty far south from where we were. Not far, but it is south, a little bit southeast. So from the high-value target, again, mark this on your map. You can see it's down there. So we're just going to go ahead and fly over there. It's about 400 meters. So just mark it, head over there, and you'll find this propaganda tower up on the ledge here. So go ahead and destroy that for another propaganda tower off the board. From that propaganda tower, we'll just open up our TAC map, and if you look just southeast of that, you'll find your next armor locker. And in fact, it's just across the road here on the mountain that's just across the road. So just fly across, you know, same height as the propaganda tower basically. Just fly over here. You can use your scan ability if you are having trouble seeing it, but you can see that it's tucked into these rocks up here. So go ahead and hop out of your Wasp and grab that next armor locker. From that armor locker, we're going to be kind of heading to our next beacon, and just next to that beacon is our next Spartan Core. So again, we're heading, kind of progressing the story. So here's the beacon that we're going to have to go into. Just to the right of that, right up against this rock, right beside a flipped over warthog, is going to be our next Spartan Core. After we've grabbed that Spartan Core, we're going to head into the beacon itself, and again, you're going to have to kill all the enemies that are in this area in order to be able to open this door. But once you've done that and you're heading into the third beacon as part of the sequence main mission, once we progress on around, again, just like all of the other beacons, we're going to find our next Banished Audio Log just to the left of the hallway. Once we've collected that and we've kind of finished this beacon, we'll open up our TAC map so you can see we've completed that beacon. Now we're going to head to the east of us so you can see this kind of large, structure of Zeta Halo that's just kind of floating by itself. That's just to the east of this beacon. And if we fly over there, I put my marker, marked all the way down low, but just head to the east and you'll see this kind of outpouching of land that's sticking off here. Hop out of your Wasp and you'll find your next audio log right on this crate. From that audio log, now we're going to head north. So if you open up your TAC map, we're going to head north of where we are, kind of making our way back to Forward Operating Base Hotel. So we've kind of covered a circular path around the western portion of Reformation, but you can see just to the south of FOB Hotel is going to be our next propaganda tower. So mark that on your map, head over there so you can see FOB Hotel kind of in the distance on the right hand side of your screen there. And right here is our next propaganda tower, so go ahead and destroy that. And from that, we're going going to open up our attack map and we're going to head to our final banished outpost, Annex Ridge, which is just to the east of us, kind of across this gap. As always, be sure you go ahead and complete the objective. Once you do that, you will have all of the banished outposts done. You should get an achievement for that, but more importantly, we need to finish it in order to have all of the doors open so we can grab all the collectibles. So now that you can see we have Annex Ridge completed, we're going to grab all the collectibles in this area. This is at the end of the outpost. You're going to have to destroy this large structure, and this is pretty obvious. It's a transport vehicle. You're going to blow it up. So turn around from that or west of that and go into this building. You're going to have to interact with that in order to expose that kind of fusion core. Just to the left of that thing you're going to interact with is our next banished audio log. From that banished audio log, just turn around and head out the southern exit of this building. As soon as you exit out, turn right and you'll kind of see this small shed, within which is our next Spartan Core. From that Spartan Core, now we're going to kind of head to the central portion of this outpost. This is pretty noticeable. Again, I'm just kind of heading to the center where this Forerunner Artifact is that they're studying. Again, you're going to have to go this way as you're playing the outpost, but go ahead and kind of fall down into that site, take this path that leads underground and is kind of a tunnel that leads all the way around, which will lead to a gravity lift that you go up normally. To get behind that gravity lift, go to the right hand side, and as you go around it, you'll find your next banished audio log right up against the wall here. Once we've grabbed that, we'll be able to get our next UNSC audio log, progress up the gravity lift, and you'll be in this building that has this kind of hologram right here, pretty noticeable. But go ahead and head out, and once you get out of the building, look to the northeast, and kind of right here where this, 3 levels of this Forerunner columns are, we want to kind of shoot ourselves up to the 2nd level. And once you get up here, you're going to find your next audio log right next to a sniper rifle on this crate here. From that audio log, now we're gonna turn around and head back across the outpost itself, but this time we're gonna kind of go southwest of where we were, just across that building that has the crane coming off of it. So you can head over there, grapple over there, walk over there. I'm just gonna fly over there because it's a little bit faster, but you can see I'm heading to the southwest portion, and just on the southwest portion of this outpost, again on a upper raised level, you're gonna find your next audio log. So let's open up our attack map, and we're going to go to our final forward operating base in the game, FOB Kilo. As always, head there, kill all the banished, take over that FOB, capture it, get a spawn point. More importantly, we're going to get the achievement for having all of the forward operating bases. As always, once you've captured that FOB, there will be a UNSC audio log that we need to get that is on the platform itself. This one is no different. Just to the north, kind of eastern side of the platform is going to be our audio log. Also, once you've captured FOB Kilo, you will now be able to go to our final banished high value target, which is just to the west of us on this lone portion of Zeta Halo that's been blown away. You can see it here. I'm just going to head over there, just mark it, fly over there, kill that high value target and all the banished. And again, once Rithkul is down, you will have him and all of the other banished high value targets done if you've been following my guide, so you should get the achievement for that as well. Once you finish that, we're going to go to our next propaganda tower, which is just east of Rithkul, just south of the banished outpost. So this is kind of where we killed Rithkul here. So we're just going to head directly east. We're going to go back down so you can see the banished outpost right there to our left. And on the corner of this land here is going to be our next propaganda tower.
The data we've been gathering is fascinating, but still incomplete. One more beacon and we can bust that spire wide open.
From that propaganda tower, we're going to continue just east, and if you just look on the map, there's this large rectangular structure of these Forerunner columns. You're going to have to fly up there. Again, this is just east of that propaganda tower, so fly up there, and once you get to the top, if you go all the way to the eastern side, you're going to find your next audio log in the grass here. From that audio log, we're going to continue east along the edge of the Reformation portion of Zeta Halo. So you can see this armor locker is all the way on the edge of the map there. So go ahead and mark that, and you can see that that is the final beacon that we're going to be going to. So as we're heading east, you will find this platform that you can land on, and that will house our next armor locker. from that armor locker, let's open up our tac map, and we're basically going to go straight north. So you can see this mountainous terrain right here, and there's that kind of shadow in the middle. That's actually a crevice that you can go into. Again, this is directly north from this armor locker. So let's go ahead and grab our Wasp, and we're just going to fly straight north. So you can see we're flying towards that mountainous terrain over there, and as we get closer, you'll see a small crevice that goes into the mountain itself, and within that crevice is some ammo as well as another Spartan audio log. In fact, this is your final Spartan audio log if you've been following this guide, so you should get an achievement for unlocking this and all of the other Spartan audio logs. From that, we're going to now head towards the final beacon as part of the sequence mission. But before we go in there and do that, we're going to grab our next Spartan Core. So there's going to be a lot of enemies around there as well. This is probably the hardest beacon to take over. There's a lot of race and things like that. So I went ahead and cleared that out. But on the back end of the beacon itself, you'll find our next Spartan Core. Also, this is the final Spartan Core in the game, so if you've collected this and all of the other ones and following my guide, you're going to get an achievement for that. Also, be sure you go into your menu, upgrade all of your equipment, each of which will have an achievement once you've upgraded each piece to its maximum level. So once you've done that and you've cleared out all of the banished outside of this beacon, now we can open the door, head into the fourth and final beacon of the sequence mission. And as always, there will be a banished audio log inside the beacon itself. Once you go in here, you can find this one right next to this dead brute. I will take this time to mention that these aren't missable. If you don't collect them as you're doing the main mission, you can always come in to these beacons later. From that, we're going to go to our final propaganda tower as well. So our 40th and final propaganda tower is just to the east of our fourth beacon. So you can see the beacons here. We're going to go east. We're going to fly up this ridge here, and we're going to take our final propaganda tower out. We're done with all that noise. We're going to get that achievement, and that's something we don't have to deal with anymore. From the propaganda tower, we'll open up our tac map once again, and we're going to head all the way east, all the way to our final armor locker. Again, we're going to grab another achievement. This is for grabbing all of the armor lockers in the game, so mark that on your map, fly all the way over there, and you're going to find this armor locker tucked up next to a rock here, as well as a BR and some ammo and the typical stuff. So that's actually going to wrap it up for this sequence portion of the Reformation section in Zeta Halo. Moving forward, we're going to be heading into the Nexus, which is kind of the linear missions. So if you look at your map, when you look at Reformation, you're still going to be missing 2 audio logs as well as a skull, but that's going to be in the linear portions of the mission. So I'll cover that in the next video. We have covered all of the open world of Zeta Halo. We've gotten all the collectibles, all the high value targets, everything. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, and hopefully I'll see you in part 9.